Good day, Las Vegas, and welcome to the first season ender of VegasVibes Junction. Your home to enjoy the best coffee and wine while taking a peek at what's groovin' and brewin' in the music, pageantry, live production, and fascinating scenes in the city that never sleeps. And I'm your host, Esmeralda Padilla-Gould. I would like to thank the hundreds of thousands of loyal viewers of VegasVibes Junction on Vegas Live TV, WCTV, and BingeNetworks.tv, especially those watching on my favorite devices, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Pizzazz.tv, and HeroGo TV, plus, of course, in my very own website, VegasVibes.us. Please continue to support my show as well as my Vegas Vibes network by telling your friends to like Vegas Vibes Junction on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I also would like to thank the millions of visitors who came to Vegas this month as we continue to celebrate the Vegas Vibes Junction moment that Las Vegas is fully but cautiously open. We continue to encourage all locals and visitors to be more responsible in dealing with the extension of the pandemic, so we can all reap the benefits of a safer and peaceful community. When Vegas Vibes Junction returns, I'll be interviewing a dear friend, Dale Wynn Davidson, who's a Christian broadcaster, TV producer, and host, professor, and an ordained minister rolled into one. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So guys, freeze that remote until Vegas Vibes Junction returns.
Pure Medical Equipment provides top-notch quality medical supply equipment. Whether to rent or buy, Pure Medical Equipment and Supplies has it all.
Pure Medical Equipment is committed to serve and give back to Southern Nevada.
We deliver medical supplies and rentals to your door.
Welcome back to Vegas Vibes Junction. Here with us today is a remarkable man whose extensive list of achievements goes beyond what most people's complete lifetimes can accomplish. He is the winner of several broadcasting industry awards, including an Associated Press Award for Best Talk Show. He has been inducted into the Nevada Broadcasters Hall of Fame. He is the producer, writer, and host of the Christian TV interview program Las Vegas Tonight. He has an undeniable gift for communicating God's grace. And for me personally, he's not just a TV host, but someone who creates a show that makes a big difference. I'm very pleased and honored to have on Vegas Vibes Junction two-time Emmy Award winner, Mr. Dale Wynn Davidson.
Wow, Esmeralda, what an honor to be here, and I cannot possibly live up to that introduction. So, good night, everybody.
Well, you will be stuck with me for the rest of this interview.
Okay.
I hope you're okay with that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just teasing. Yeah.
I'm pleased to have you on our show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be on your show.
Well, you have created over 400 episodes of
your
TV show,
I have.
Las Vegas Tonight. And I feel actually intimidated because you got so much experience.
I think you're closing in on me. Every time I turn on the network, there you are. So you're doing a lot of shows. which is great. You're doing a great job.
I'm trying to catch up on you.
Well, I started 15 years ago, and it was really basically just public service type show. I interviewed people here in the community, and I did it primarily just to have a local show on Channel 17, which I was managing at the time here, the only Christian TV station in Las Vegas. And the Lord just grabbed hold of it, and the next thing you know, all kinds of people want to be on the show. And so we've had all kinds of wonderful guests. They all have great stories. They often tell about their love for Jesus Christ and about their ministries. Many are entertainers because we're in the entertainment capital of the world. And that's really what we try to do, is be entertaining and also, like you said, make a difference in people's lives.
So, having said that, now that you're sitting up on the opposite side, you're the interviewee, not the interviewer.
Yeah.
Does it make you feel nervous at all?
It does a little. It's funny. It's different to ask the questions because what I say is, you're the star, the interviewee. You're the star. All I'm going to do is ask you questions, and then with some people, I just take a nap because they just talk and talk and talk. But yeah, it's a little bit different.
But being an interviewer must be really just a piece of cake for you because you're a writer yourself.
I am, yeah, I am. I started with the Associated Press as a correspondent way back in college days. Worked at some newspapers, worked at some television stations, was a TV anchor, news anchor for a while.
Wow.
And wrote a book.
Yes.
And
book.
various, there it is, called Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints. You can get it on Amazon. And that basically is profiles of about a dozen people, including myself, who I thought were worthy of being profiled in a story. So that's what that's all about.
So what motivated you to write this book?
Well, you know, people were saying you really ought to write a book because you've had so many really interesting guests on your show, and we'd like to have it. So I sat down and with some help from my then producer, Betsy Ann Fiore, we went through the tapes, you know, and transcribed them all, and then re-interviewed those dozen people and wrote, I think, pretty nice stories about people who have overcome difficulties often or have done ministries that are just phenomenal and worldwide, or just a local story about a local church and local people who really have done something extra special here in our city.
Can you share a specific story that really captured your attention and made it different?
Yeah, I can. One that comes to mind is a man that overcame, and you might remember this story. His name is Arturo Martinez, and Arturo became a very close friend, but he was the victim of a terrible tragedy. He was a boxer and also a teacher of boxing for kids, a coach, if you will. And his home was broken in North Las Vegas, was broken into, and he was assaulted by a crazed drug guy with a hammer, and the guy then killed his wife and daughter.
Oh my gosh.
And he had 17 fractures in his head, you know. This is not a happy story, but it has a happy ending. And he overcame the brain injury. He has gone back to work since. But what was most remarkable is he told me, I was helping him and basically trying to organize media coverage so people would leave the family alone, you know. And I knew most of the broadcasters in town and the newspaper writers and people like that just because of my job and being around here for over 20 years. And this took place in 2012. And he asked me if I would organize a press conference. I said, sure, what do you want to talk about? Art. And he said, I want to forgive the man who did this. I said, what? He said, yes, we're commanded to in the Bible. He's a very religious guy, to forgive people for their sins. And I would like to do that. He said, it doesn't mean that I don't want justice, you know, whatever happens in the courtroom is on him, but I want to forgive him for doing what he did. And he did, and we brought a lot of people in from all over the country. And the last I heard, he told me that his story was covered in 175 countries around the world. And it was a very inspirational and wonderful message that he gave. And things have turned out great. He's remarried. His 2 sons are doing well in school. He has a terrific job. And it just proves that you can overcome anything, which he has done. Yeah, that's just one of the stories. And there are happier ones too, you know, about people that have wonderful lives, have become entertainers, have overcome the difficulties of being in the entertainment business and things like that. So it's been a joy to know these folks. And I feel like everybody who's been on the show is now a friend. I keep in touch with a lot of them. And many are from here, you know, in our hometown, and others are from elsewhere around the world.
And it's so perfect to go to you because you're also an ordained minister.
That is true. That is true. I really felt, I was in broadcasting for most of my career, as you know, and in the newspaper business, in the news business. And what I discovered was I had been given so many different experiences in my life. I couldn't figure out why I was getting them all, why they were all so different, and I was learning so many different things. And then when I came to Christ in my 40s, which is kind of late in life, I really felt like the Lord was saying to me, I want you to take the skills that I've given you and work for the kingdom. And so that's why I'm a broadcaster, but also I went to Bible school, and you know, yeah.
You actually went to.
Yeah, I first went to the University of Denver, which is also called Colorado Seminary, and then I went to several different schools. Trinity, which is based in Illinois, and studied theology there. And a couple other places as well.
It says you are a graduate of University of Denver with degrees in mass communication and political science.
Right, that's right, yeah.
And you have also done graduate work at Trinity University Seminary,
right,
and holds an MA degree in theology from Bethany University Seminary, and is licensed chaplain through Media Fellowship International.
That's right,
Wow.
yeah. And it's really been an honor, and what a difference, you know, from before, you know, I became a Christian and was working in the news business, where you can kind of get to be hard-bitten and kind of cynical and things like that. And the Lord just totally turned me around and made me happy to go to work every day and meet new people and try to lead others to Christ. And that's what we're doing with the show. You know, it's if you watch it, what we try to do is draw people in with, we've got a lot of pizzazzy open like your show does, you know, with a lot of Las Vegas scenes and music and lights and all that. And we want to draw people in. And then in the first and second segments of the show, it's an hour-long show, with the first and second segments, we really find out and delve pretty deeply into people's lives and draw them in. And then in the final segment, we talk about Jesus, typically. So you want to trick them. That's just the way of putting it.
As an interviewer, what do you usually ask your interviewee? Like,
yeah, you know, it's really interesting. What I've learned is, and I've seen you do this as well, Esmeralda, always ask open-ended questions that you cannot answer with a single word, a yes or a no. So it's always who, what, where, how, when, why, open-ended questions. And what I call high-gain questions, which make people speculate, makes them think, makes them cast back in their minds, you know, and you get some pretty in-depth things. An example of an in-depth question that a lot of people use is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you think your ministry is going to be? What do you want your entertainment career to look like? And if you ask questions like that and then sit there and shut up and listen, they'll tell you some pretty revealing things. And I've been surprised, and people say, and it's really an honor that they say this, that I'm easy to sit with and listen to, but it's mostly because I do ask those questions and then I let them talk, which a lot of cable show hosts don't. If you've noticed, they talk over each other.
On that note, any specific goals you would like to achieve in the very near future?
Yeah, I would like to continue to expand our distribution around the world. Thanks to your network and our mutual friend Carl Magno.
VegasVibes TV.
Yeah. So Philam TV and ACTV and Vegas Life TV, all your networks carry my show, which is really an honor and a blessing, including in China,
Yeah,
which is really
WCETV.
terrific. Yeah, isn't that something? WCETV, which anybody can get, right? Just
And
download
also
it.
they're on the local TV channel.
Yeah.
26.8.
26.8, yeah, my friend Larry Hunt's channel. So I'd like to expand that. I'd like to continue to get interesting guests. I'd like to do some more out-of-town guests, maybe travel to them, or we've been doing some distance interviews, which I'm not that crazy about because it doesn't look that great technically, you know, but sometimes that's the only way you can get people. So I'd like to do more of that.
Was there any, you've been in the business for so long.
Yeah, I
but
have.
what was your biggest challenge and how were you able to overcome it?
Yeah, probably way in the early days when I was working for the Associated Press and then local newspapers in Denver and in Ohio and Arizona, places like that. I had a difficult time when I had to cover crime scenes or accident scenes because they're gruesome, you know. I went to several of the natural disasters, hurricane that hit New Orleans, for example, and Haiti once, and the Twin Towers, and things like that. And it's difficult emotionally, and that's what I didn't want to get to, the point where I wasn't moved emotionally by things like that, because then you're too hard and too cynical and too cold. So I tried not to do that. And then about 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago now, I joined an organization, a volunteer organization called Media Fellowship International. You mentioned it. I got some of my training through them. And what we do, among other things, is we go and minister to people in the media who are in tough situations, you know, like a natural disaster or a shooting, you know, things like that. And they don't really have much in the way of counseling available to them. So we go out and, you know, maybe make some burgers and, you know, and invite them in and pray with them if they want. And that's part of what I do and I like to do, but that's always a challenge, you know.
You've become a humanitarian.
Oh, thank you. I
In a
appreciate
way,
it. Yeah,
right?
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is helpful to people, and they often thank you for it later. When we had the big shooting here in Las Vegas in 2017, October 1, we put up a couple of tents in the parking lot of University Medical Center. One was a prayer tent, and the other was we had food and teddy bears for the kids and, you know, things like that,
Yeah, I
for
remember when
the
that
victims.
happened.
Yeah. So we try to swing into action when we're called on. Yeah.
So what motivates you every day to do your show?
Yeah, I love doing it. It's really the highlight of my week. We tape typically once or twice a week, and everything else points toward that. You know, that's really what I like to do. And so you don't have to motivate me to do that. Sometimes we have challenges, we have technical challenges. Sometimes I forget to ask a question, you know, things like that. And you got to do editing, and you got to fix things up, and, you know, make it look good. And, you know, we have, sometimes we'll miss a deadline, you know, but there's the usual kinds of things that anybody would have in television in particular. but you don't have to ask me twice to do the show. I just love doing it. The personal feeling that I get that I'm serving God really, really makes me happy.
Was there ever a time that you said, I give up?
I have, yeah. There are times where it's financially been difficult often. I tell people that, or somebody will say, well, you're in this for the money. I go, what money is that? I'd like to be in, get some money. But if you're doing ministry properly, doing it for the right reason, there's really no money in it.
So when you get discouraged, like
yeah, I'll get discouraged, yeah, and I'll say,
opinions from people,
yeah, and then,
cope?
what I say is, you probably know the story in the Bible when Moses and his people were wandering in the desert for 40 years. They were fed manna. It was like a magical bread that came down from heaven. And I often feel like I come in on a Monday morning and there's a small pile of manna there in front of my door. I get just enough to keep us going. And so I thank the Lord for that, and we move on, so.
Always have God in your heart.
You have to. You get the right reason, then these problems really won't hang on.
Speaking of problems, are you sensitive to criticism, or sensitive to criticism?
Yeah, I am.
Skeptical of praise.
Yeah.
That type of person.
Yeah. I think naturally modest, so if I get praised like you did at the beginning of this, I'm a little, oh geez, how do I live up to this? But every now and then, I'll get some criticism about a guest I had on the show or something I said on the show, and it'll hurt me momentarily, but then I'll think about it, and say a couple of things to myself, which is I did my best. I got to remember that, and I learned a lesson. If indeed that person is giving good criticism, then what you have to do is say, okay, I'll keep that in mind for next time. And that's the best way to look at this and not take it personally, because if you do, you'll go crazy.
I've heard this beautiful quote, and it says, don't let compliments get to your head and criticisms get to your heart.
Oh, I like that one. Thank you. I'm stealing that. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I have mentioned that you are a 2-time Emmy Award winner. Is there any achievements in your life that you are very proud of?
Yeah, being a dad. I think that's my number one. I really, really loved having my boys. I've got 4 sons and 10 grandkids, as you mentioned, and that was the best thing I ever did in my life. That was the most important job I ever had. And now being a grandpa is so much better. I mean, I love being a parent, but I had to discipline them and raise them and keep them. Oh yeah, and now it's just joy, and sugar them up and send them home. That's
I
what I
had
do.
more time, but if there's anything that you would like to, like words of wisdom to anyone who would like to follow your footsteps.
Okay. What I would say is, do everything that you do with excellence. Work for the Lord as if you were working for a family member. Do everything you can to the best ability, and try not to complain. So that's all the wisdom I guess I would put together.
Please
Thank you.
invite everyone. Where could they find you and all the amazing things that you do?
Yeah, my website is vegassaints.org. You can reach me on any of the major social media platforms under Dale Davidson. As well, you can watch my shows on YouTube under Las Vegas Tonight, hosted by Dale Davidson. My book is on Amazon, and I'd love to keep in touch with you, so feel free to reach out.
And lastly, if you could have a superpower, what would it be?
A superpower. I would like to have the biggest heart in the world.
Oh, amazing. Well, I wish you the best, and God bless.
Thank you. God bless
so
you.
much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on your show.
Well, catch me again next time as I feature another amazing personality here on VegasVibes Junction. We hope you enjoyed watching this VegasVibes Junction episode as much as I did. Promise to join me again next week on this same fabulous Vegas Vibes network. And to all our global viewers out there, let me remind you that Las Vegas is not just about the world-renowned Strip or the famous Fremont Street experience in the vibrant downtown district. It has real people, a lot of them musicians, live entertainers, and those involved in the world of pageantry. And to the people here in the Valley who work hard each day to make Las Vegas a global brand. I would like to feature you and your cool story right here on VegasVibes Junction, either in our studios or online via Zoom. If you believe that's you, please email me now at vegasvibesjunction@gmail.com. Before I go, I would like to thank my wardrobe sponsor, Anne Fontaine, located at the Forum Shops of Caesars Palace. Anne Fontaine is now open for business as well. You may call Miss Anna Billings at 702-733-6205 to make an appointment. And now for my favorite segment, the Vegas Vibes Closet. Yes, it features an intricate selection of health and beauty products which I personally use. And this week, I'm proud to announce that Vegas Vibes Cosmetics, my very own cosmetics line, has added 5 more shades of matte liquid lipsticks. It has now total of 10 shades to choose from. A must for ladies who spend most of their time outside the comfort of their own home for business and social events like myself. Check it out, ladies. Be one of the first ones to try them out. Visit VegasVibes.us to learn more and order online. Follow Vegas Vibes Junction on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, or check out VegasVibes.us for updates and announcements. Once again, I'm your host, Esmeralda Padilla-Gould. Thank you for watching. Mwah!